SportsRap CEO, your boy, in the building on a Monday. A beautiful Monday, if you ask me. I had a good weekend. I hope everyone else had a good and enjoyable weekend. I hope you got to do some things that you wanted to do. Cisco, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in, good brother. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. Unusual, Nathan Phillips Williams. Always tuned in. Thank you guys for tuning in early this morning with me. Not too early, but thank you guys for tuning in as always. So, again, like I was saying, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I had a really good weekend. Got to hang out with some family yesterday and some friends yesterday. So I split yesterday. Friday, I took a day off of work, just for myself to relax a little bit. Sat around, basically did nothing. Which was needed. Saturday, I hung out with the kid. And then, like I said, yesterday, Sunday, I split with the family. And then after the family time, I went and hung out with the fellas and had a good time there. Saw some guys that I haven't seen in a while. And, it's always good to see them. Lowell Rich, good to see you this morning, Coach, on IG. Folks, you know where I'm at. I shouldn't have to tell you this. Most of you know Facebook SportsRap Podcast LLC is the group page there. On Instagram, SportsRap CEO at SportsRap CEO is the page there. You can find me live right there as well. And you can also get me on HeatMy100Radio.com if you tune in. So, folks, I'm going to have a couple announcements during the show today. So just stay tuned. You might win something, you might not, or you'll probably, at worst, you'll find out how you can get the opportunity to win something. So, at worst. So, just make sure you stay tuned to the show today, and then, I'll give you all the details on all of that. I'll give you all of that a little bit later. So, here we go. You know what we do, folks. News and updates, scores, and then we got some topics, some selected topics for me. And, sometimes, most of the time, we try to stay on tune online. But sometimes, when my guys join in, we get a little sidetracked, if you will. But it's always great dialogue. So if we go a little left, no worries. Just ride it out because we always bring it back. But again, like I said, even when we do go left, like we do sometimes, there's always good dialogue, good content. So TNT's Kenny Smith questions ESPN strategy amid NBA layoffs and hires. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on in the show. That is actually one of my topics that I had picked that I wanted to discuss. I wanted to go through that article, talk a little bit about that. And, we've been adding little pieces in about the ESPN stuff for a long time when we first started hearing things about it. And then most recently with these layoffs. And some of these layoffs that they had were major layoffs. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and I'm going to tell you in my thoughts and some of from the article or what Kenny Smith felt about that. My fault, Mel. Good morning, Mel. What's going on, good brother? Devontae Adams leaves the Raiders practice early after an apparent leg injury. ESPN shuts down their Pac-12 talks after a massive counter offer. So with that there too, this just adds more to the, I guess you could say, confusion of what is actually going on over at ESPN. Cooper Flagg, who was considered to be the number one draft pick soon, has reclassified to the class of 2024. Again, yeah, Mel, I'm going to get to some preseason. I know. This Cooper Flagg, I've seen some tape on him. Seems to be pretty good. Some of the clips that I've seen also have some pros, i.e. Chris Paul at one point saying he does every game. It's not like a fluke or anything. He just does it tonight and whatever, but he does it every game. Mark Brown, thanks for tuning in on Mark A. Brown, on Facebook as well. So he reclassifies, and this is just me and my thoughts about this reclassification thing. I just feel like for me it is a waste. Good morning, Nathan. Thank you for tuning in. I don't really like the reclassification. Like, perfect example here. Like I just mentioned to you, Cooper Flag. Like I said, I've seen some of his stuff. Really good. Like I said, he's even been getting stamped by some pros. Like I said, i.e. Chris Paul. I've seen Chris Paul in a video and they, captioned it, and said what he said. And he said, yeah, he does this. I don't know what you're talking about, but he says he does this every game. It's not a joke. It's every night. Okay? So good. I give you that. And if you're doing that now, right, why do you need to reclassify and do it all over again? Just to get high. You were already like considered the number one pick, so there's like nothing higher than number one pick. Maybe a little bit more money depending on where you go or whatever. But now, when you do come out, in my opinion, your stats are going to me, just look a little bit overblown because you're going to be at an advantage. And like I said, you've done what you did or what you're doing now, which is great. So why do you have to come back and do it again? It's, like I said, it makes me feel like you are now at an advantage, or you have an advantage over some of the other guys that might be trying to. You might even overshadow some guys who would have had that opportunity to shine had you not reclassified. So, those are just my thoughts on that. Disgruntled Harden calls Daryl Morey a liar. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. This situation right now with this Harden thing, within the last day or two, has turned into something, and this could, I'm not going to say it could be, but everything that we've seen in the media in the last couple days gives me an eerie feeling that it could become something that we don't want. Now you've got Harden calling Morey a liar and all of these other things. So it's a lot. Let's see, James Harden has the nerve to call Morey a liar when James is the, wow. Let's go back here. Got to catch all of this. James is the biggest fraud of them all, even more LaFleur games, even more than LaFleur games. I respect what he has done in his playing career, and I give him credit where credit is due, but it has not produced a championship anywhere he has gone. He will never be the assassin he was in Houston, where he averaged darn near 40 a game. He messed up the chemistry in Brooklyn and here in Philadelphia. His style of play is not what today's game is about. It's more upbeat and fast-paced, and that is why Tyrese Maxey gives us the point guard. Daryl Morey needs to get what he can get for James and move on from this dude. Yeah, I'm not excusing my friend. I'm not excusing Daryl. I'm not excusing you either, my friend. The way you are going to make him be very unhappy. Especially if he wants to go to a team like Golden State or a really good team out west who, let's see, do better, Daryl, or you will lose fans and revenue so fast that you will want your head spin. All right, so that was a lot from Nate, and thanks for that comment, Nate. That was a lot. Some of the things in there, what you said, are not all the things that I don't agree with everything. I do agree partially and somewhat with the fact that where you say Morey should just go ahead and get rid of him. But you also have to take into consideration the business side of all of this, if you will. And when I say that and I talk about the business side of all of this, what I actually mean is the fact that he is under contract and he opted into his contract. So he is our player. He basically is basically what it boils down to. And the other thing that it boils down to is, as far as business-wise and contractually, the Sixers do not have to trade him. Okay, Daryl Morey has already put out there that regardless of our friendship, our nature, we're doing business first. And I'm not going to take just whatever somebody wants to give me for this guy. I know his value. And again, he opted in because he thought the value of what he was a little bit higher. The market for him was a little bit higher, and there was really no market for him out there. The Clippers and the Sixers had conversations. The Clippers allegedly were intrigued, but the Sixers again and Daryl Morey again, a lot of teams said their price was too high. But you have to start high as far as that type of player in the NBA. You have to start high. And it's a lot of moving parts that play into this. So again, like I said, the market for him was not what he thought it was. Daryl Morey is not going to just give him away. Like he's been stated, he wants either that same level caliber player back, something close to that, or draft picks that we can turn into that type of player. That's what he wants. And I'm not mad at him for wanting that. Because, and you think about it, James Harden did still have a good season. He had a really good season. It folded, or they folded when we least expected them to fold, but overall, pretty good season. So he opts in, and initially he wanted the $200 million. And I guess he was basing that on what he did last year when he said, "I'm gonna opt out, get what you need to get, give me what's left." Okay, they did that, and you still ended up with 35 and 36 mil for the 2 years. Okay. In my opinion, although I did just say that you had a really good season, and I still stand by that. He had a really good season. Even with that, I do not feel and do not believe that you are worth the $200 million 4-year max right now. I don't believe that. And hence why you didn't get it. So then you tried to stall us out, test the market. Okay, market wasn't there. I get it. You might want to go back home. The West Coast is where you're from. You want to go back home. No problem, no issues with that. And you come in and you opt in, and then you request a trade. So here we are now with this James Harden thing. And, like I said before, we kind of get off. I had some news and updates. But it was only a couple more points. It's not really important pieces of that anyway. But, we're here. And one of the things that bothers me about this whole situation, again, like I said a little ways back, it feels like it's going to be something that we don't want. We'll have to see how it plays out and what happens, but it looks like we are heading into another off-season training camp with some situations going on that we don't want to be going on. And it's going to be up to management and coaching staff to keep everyone else focused and move into progressing where we need to get to start our season with or without James Harden, whatever that case may be. And, the Sixers have also stressed that they would like it for him to be there. Nick Nurse would like for him to be there. And, we have to wait and see. If it happens. But again, I just have a feeling that we're going to have a situation that we really don't want to have. Jay Blake, my guy, always tuned in on IG. Thank you, good brother, for tuning in. News and updates was there. Some scores for you. We had some Major League Baseball yesterday. We are coming down to the stretch in this baseball season. So we are going to get to that. So here we go. Tigers and the Red Sox. The Red Sox take that game 6-3. In a close one, the Nationals outlast the A's 8-7. The Phils at the park get blanked by the Twins 3-0. The Reds fall to the Pirates 4-2. The Blue Jays beat up on the Cubs 11-4. The Guardians get by the Rays 9-2. The Yankees fall to the Marlins in Florida 8-7. The Angels get by the Astros 2-1. The Brewers get by the White Sox 7-3. Rangers fall to the Giants 3-2. The Orioles get by the Mariners 5-3. Dodgers take this game at home over the Rockies 8-3. And another close one, in Arizona, the Diamondbacks 5, Padres 4. Mets 7, Braves 6. In the second game, I guess of a doubleheader yesterday, the Reds and the Pirates in 10 innings, the Reds come back and take that one 6-5. In the WNBA yesterday, the Sky and the Mystics take that game 83-76. Mercury and the Storm go up by 10, take that 81-71. The Liberty beat up on the Fever a little bit, 100-89. And the Dream fall to the Aces, 86-65. NFL preseason yesterday, the Chiefs and the Saints. In a close one, the Saints get by the Chiefs 26-24. And the Raiders, you hear this, Mel? Raiders, and you said it, it's only preseason, but the Raiders beat up on the 49ers 34-7. That is your scores and updates. I will give you schedules at the closeout for Major League Baseball today and some stuff upcoming this week. Now, moving along, I'm definitely going to get to talk about the Eagles' first preseason game of the year. While I'm also here, just to backtrack a little bit, some NBA Hall of Fame inductees. They are Paul Gasol, Gene Katie, Gene Best, Julian Brzezinski, Dwayne Wade, David Hickson, Gary Blair, Tony Parker, and Dirk Nowitzki. Also, folks, I got a leak for you. If you didn't see it, and I'm going to probably post it a little bit later, got a leak NBA Christmas games. Got a leak NBA Christmas games. Good morning, boss lady. Good morning, Mo. Boss lady is in the building, tuned in as always. NBA Christmas Day leaks. Let me give it to you real quick. Bucks, Knicks, Sixers, Heat, Celtics, Lakers, Mavs, Suns, Warriors, Nuggets. That is the leak for the NBA Christmas games. And like I said, I will definitely post that later on probably for you. So don't fret. You'll be in tune with what's going on there. Now, I started, before I gave you the scores, and I started with the James Harden situation. And I'm going to stay there. I'm going to go back there and stay there for a little bit because it's right at the top of my head. And, it's something that was brought up. And like I said, Nathan gave me a long comment not that long ago. And we went through some of that, and I talked about some of the points that he made in that. So, as we have seen within like the last 24, 48 hours, the Sixers announced that they have ended all trade talks with James Harden and expected him to be in training camp. That was the first announcement. Shortly after, you get the statement allegedly from James Harden says he has no intentions on coming to camp. Now, mind you, there was a little while back where he did say, when there was still alleged trade talks, that he would come to camp. Right? And then that kind of blew over. And then now, the Sixers say, oh, we've ended talks. Because they didn't get what they wanted. So, okay, it's getting closer to training camp. It's time to focus on business, the task at hand. So they decided to announce that they have ended trade talks. Okay, that's what you do. That's what you say. All right, fine. Like I said, then shortly after that, Mr. Harden puts out that he now has no intention on coming to training camp. Okay, so now we basically, for debatable reasons, can say that we have a stalemate, a standoff, somewhat, if you will. Listen, the way I feel, and like I just mentioned to you a little while ago, like I said, I feel like we're heading to headed to having to deal with the situation that we don't want. Okay, that's the way I'm going to word it for now. Deep down inside, more truthfully though, if you're not going to come, then just don't come. Like, don't give us all the hoopla and all the media and the social media, the chatter. Like, we're all supposed to be adults, and we understand that this is supposed to be a business. You even, and I'm speaking of James Harden now, you even said at one point that you understand that this is a business and yada, yada, yada. Well, be a man and handle it like a business. You most recently, now you called Daryl Morey a liar. And I understand that some things may have happened that we will probably never know the true essence of from the outside looking in. that has fractured that relationship. It's been reports out. It's also been reports out that that relationship could possibly be unfixable. Totally understandable. It happens. Okay? It's a business, a big business. Friends, things happen. Okay? But I don't know what happened. Well, Rennie Mitchell, what's going on, cuzzo? Thanks to see you tuned in. I don't know what brought you to the point where you got to the point and now you say that he's a liar. I'm going to go through an article where I saw that, and again, now that I'm thinking about it, trying to remember, I don't actually think it really gave a point on why he stated that or what was his reasoning for that, but we'll get to that in a second. So it's, again, for me, deep down inside, truthfully, I'm at the point now where it's like, listen, if you're not gonna come, don't give us the drama, the runaround, the prima donna nonsense. I mean, if you're not gonna come, then just say you're not coming and then just don't come. Okay, and let it be what it be. So that the Sixers as an organization can move on and look to put in work for the upcoming season, and the fan base can have some hope and look at what we actually have going into the season and focus on that. Because the back and forth, the extra activity, the extracurricular activity, if you will, it's only going to cause a problem. Like I said, I'm not going to say it all, but like I said, I'm just going to keep saying it this way. The situation that we don't want it. It's just that simple. And for me to say it's that simple, again, at that level, with the business and all the things that they have going on, like it may not be as easy for them to say it as easy as I'm saying it. But I'm sure they probably thinking it, but they have to find different ways to do things. And I can just say, look, don't come. Don't show up. I care less. I'll move on with what I got. That's easy for me to say sitting here, but totally different, for those guys in that front office, Daryl Morey and all those guys, whatever. So, getting to it, okay. Like I said, the other articles I had were that they, just the basic stuff that they had ended the James Harden talk. And right before that, it got to the point where they were in striking distance. But again, with the Clippers thing, right? The Clippers actually said, like, they were interested, they were intrigued, but they didn't want to give up any of their young talent. And one of the, let's see, where is it? One of the mock trades, one of the most recent mock trades, and here it is, the Clippers and the Sixers. This is like the last one I saw. The Clippers would get Harden, Tucker, and Montrezl Harrell, who is hurt and probably out for the season. Okay. The Sixers would in return get Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Terrence Mann, a 23 Clippers first round pick, top 3 protected, and a 2030 Clippers first round pick, top 3 protected. Like, I get it. I understand the players involved. But what gets me, what does not sit well with me, is the top 3 protected on the picks. The top 3 protection on the picks is not something that really sits well with me. So, just recently, again, James Harden, he says, he's in China doing his Adidas thing, whatever, off-season, whatever. It says 2 days after the Sixers reported ending trade talks with unhappy star, the 10-time All-Star guard ripped 76ers president Daryl Morey, and it says, I quote, Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of, end quote. Okay, he also goes on to say, quote, let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's part of. Okay. Again, like I said, it doesn't really give us why he says he's a liar. And again, that's something that we arguably could never, ever know the exact details. In this article it says that he's upset or he's unhappy about the lack of a long-term max contract. It's like I said, man, you. Although again, I say you had a really good season, but the way the season ended, the way you ended your season, it's not feasible right now to give you that type of contract in the middle of a new collective bargain, in the beginning of a new CBA, and also the Sixers are still cleaning up stuff from the process, from the beginning of the process all the way up until now. They're still cleaning stuff up. I mean, they're finally in the last year of the outrageous contract that Tobias Harris got way back when. Didn't have any draft picks. They traded away draft picks in the James Harden trade. So, for you now, like I said, I would love to catch somebody or find somebody that I know that could give me some more light on how the situation came up about him accusing Daryl Morey of being a liar, because I want to know. And like I said, I understand the reports that were out not that long ago that the relationship was fractured again, and arguably could not be fixed. But now, when we haven't heard much, all of a sudden we hear that trade talks have ended, and then a couple days later you turn around and you call the man a liar. Like, I kind of need some substance. I kind of need to know why you're calling this man a liar now, all of a sudden. And I'm just giving you how this looks on the surface. I really would love to know why the sudden change of you now calling this man a liar. The other issues I see with it, like I said, is you don't want to be here, then don't be here. You have that right, you have that option, but you did sign a contract. So some things will probably happen that you might not like dealing with that contract. And again, these are some of the same issues that I said on the business side, as far as the organization, with the Ben Simmons situation as well. You're under contract. It's a legal binding contract. So the Sixers have ways and things that they can do because you're under contract if you decide to not show up to work. It's just the nature of business, not just that business. It's the nature of business, period. You don't come to work, you don't get paid, just like I said before. But, it's one of those things where, like I said, I'm past the babiness, the whining, and all of this other kind of nonsense, this drawn out process. Listen, dude, come and play. Maybe they can still work out a trade sometime during the season or something like that, like you've been getting traded, But like it doesn't sit well for me for you to quit. Like you quit in the playoffs, and now it's coming off like you quitting again. I have, when we talked about the Ben Simmons thing, and then it trickled down to some other players, and we mentioned the John Wall situation. I said I had a lot of respect for John Wall because of the way he handled his situation. He asked for a trade. It was not like a request. He asked for a trade, to be moved to a better situation. Okay, he's later in his career. He wanted to have a better chance of winning. Okay, so he asked for a trade. And he also said that he would come to work, he just wasn't going to play. But what he did was he came to work, and he came to games, and he sat on the bench in street clothes. Very professional, very adult, if you will. Like I said, he came, he requested a trade, said he wasn't going to play, but he came to work. And he said he was going to come to work, and he came to work. So now, like, you get back to the James Harden situation. So now you request a trade. Let's run this down. And the logic and some of this thought process is really what gets to me sometimes. So you say we're at the point where we are. You say now you have this. You requested the trade, right? Yeah, okay, whatever. They couldn't get a trade done, so they said they've ended talks. All right, fine. Now you say you don't want to come to training camp. You're not going to be part of an organization that Daryl Morey has anything to do with. Okay, fine and well. That's your prerogative. But now you saw that the trade market, the value for you was not great or where you thought it should be early in the offseason. So now you decided you're not going to play. What do you think that's going to do? Like, I just feel like if you requested a trade and things didn't go the way you wanted them to go, then you come and you show out. So teams will know, look, this is what you're going to get if you trade for me. I'm willing to come to L.A. and get it in for you. Stan Laws, thanks for tuning in, good brother. Blessings to you this Monday morning. You know, that's just my thought process, in my opinion. Like, if I'm in that situation and I get there and I'm like, look, I don't want to be here no more. You know, I want to be traded. You know, can we facilitate something to try and get me moved? But me, my psyche, my mentality, I'm coming to work. And I'm going to show y'all two things. I'm going to show y'all the trade of what you could have had if we had worked things out that you probably won't have. And then I'm showing the teams that might have interest what I can do and what they'll get. And hopefully I'll get more teams involved and interested as they see what I'm doing. But that's just me. Okay. So, again, for you to say you're not coming to camp, I don't think that helps you in your trade request and any traction in a trade. You not coming to camp. I don't think that helps any. But who am I? Oh, I'm SportsRap CEO, the podcaster for Philly, and you know, with my own opinions. But you know, it's real. Like I said, it's real crazy. Like, you know, I don't get how that could very well be. You know, that could very well be the case, Stan. You know, going back to what they dealt when they did the first deal with the 2-year thing. It could have been a very well, you know, it could have been a very well done side deal or something like that, you know, and he probably didn't honor it, you know, because for whatever reasons. You know, again, that could be the case. And if that is the case, and again, like I say, we'll never know the true reasons behind it, if that is the case, you know. But like I said, I get it. You know, I understand where you are, and I understand how situations happen. And, you know, like I said, I understand it's business and things happen in business. Businesses go bad. I understand friendships. Friendships sometimes go awry. But this is looking like a bad breakup. And I feel like it could get messy because just appearances and the way things are looking to me right now. You've got one side that's, like we're saying now, disgruntled, a little upset. And then there's the other side that's looking and appearing like it's more of a nonchalant, laid-back type of activity on that side. So it's going to cause some frictions. It's going to cause some problems. It's going to cause some issues. But it is what it is. And this is where we are. So, you know, a lot of us may not like it, but it's something that we're going to have to hear about, talk about, possibly from now all the way through training camp, possibly partially most of the season, if nothing changes or if anything changes in the one way or another. So, you know, I will always, as always, keep you guys posted, up to date, and definitely tell you what's going on. And, you know, as I get the news, I always report to you. But I always take my time and go through things and read things out before I give you stuff. So we'll definitely do that. Since we're still talking NBA, you know, I brought to you last week and a couple weeks ago Let's see. Stan says he's publicly calling Maury a liar for a reason. But do you think this affects Superstar wanting to come to Philly? It might. Him saying it out loud, and like I said, I get that. It's got to be something there that we'll probably never know the true reason. But you gave up two good reasons, Stan, that could possibly be in there. And well, yeah, the part what you said about the side deal part, and then you say he's calling him a liar for a reason. Yeah, I understand and I get that, and I kind of felt that way a little bit too. But it was just for me, it was just like, wow, now this is coming out. It's like if you felt this way, it was there prior to you bringing it out. It's just all I'm basically saying. But again, let's see. Do you think it affect? Yeah, I think I can't say definitely, but I think it will play a part in it. Also, I think it will play a part in it because people will want to know why. So it's like that door is open and people are walking through, but it's like they just walking through it and there's nothing going on. Nothing being told. Nothing being said. It's just the door open. And you just looking in that room and you looking straight in that room and there's nothing. And, so yeah, I think it could have an effect on that. Like I said, because with him saying that, like you said, it could be a definite reason why. And I think people would want to know why before. And so, yeah, I think it could have an effect on a superstar coming to Philly. So, again, like I started to go into, we were talking about the ESPN layoffs and stuff like that. And the most recent story that I brought to you about the ESPN layoffs was the fact that their show, The Jump, had laid off a lot of people. And then it got to the point where they laid off Mark Jackson and Van Gundy to bring in Doris Burke and Doc Rivers. Let's see. Nate says, do you think it has something to do with James giving up that money last year with nothing to show for it? Listen, good question, Nate. I said that, and Stan brought that up too. Like he said, it could have been a deal in place. And I could see how that could come about, what you just said, where it's like, okay, we might have had a side deal, but bro, dude, you ain't live up to it like we thought you would live up to it, like we felt you lived up to it. Or it could have been something in there that, again, wasn't lived up to on somebody's part. Either way, I'm not saying who. I'm not excusing either side. I'm not excusing either side, okay? But something was done. Something was had in that relationship. Whether it was both sides, one side, whatever. Something happened. Okay, so yeah, I could see how that could be a possibility where it could be like, yo, dude, we talked about this, and then you went and did that. We can't honor that. We got to talk about that. So it's possible, but yeah. So the ESPN stuff, they laid off Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy to bring in Doc Rivers and Doris Burke to do games with Mike Breen. I feel like Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, and Mike Breen were a good team, a good trio. They had everything. It was enjoyable to watch, to listen to them while watching games. You had Mark Jackson with the classic phrases, the catchphrases, also the player basketball knowledge. You had, and a little bit of coach in him. You had Van Gundy, the longevity as a coach and that coaching knowledge. And then you had the guy, you had Mike Breen, who's the color guy, But that team was actually pretty good. So you switch that up and you bring in Doris Burke and Doc Rivers. You don't give me that same excitement. I feel like you lose a little bit. And don't get me wrong. No disrespect to their basketball knowledge. And I'm speaking in regards of Doris Burke and Doc Rivers. No disrespect to their basketball knowledge, but it's not the same as hearing hand down, man down. Mama, there goes that man. And all of that plays into the game. And you love those catchphrases, you hear those catchphrases. But Mark Jackson uses those catchphrases in his analyzing of the game when he breaks stuff down and he tells you stuff and you understand it a little bit better than what you Doc Rivers, the raspy voice, doesn't really excite me. Doris Burke, very knowledgeable. She makes valiant attempts to bring in some catchphrases or try to create some catchphrases, but it's just not the same. It just doesn't work the same for her. So Kenny Smith in all of this, he says, and I quote, "I'm not really sure how they're doing it." Just referring to ESPN. He says, "I'm not really versed on why they're doing all their cuts and how it budgetary. Because certain guys are getting let go and then you hire someone else for more money. I have no idea why they're doing it, but stability is what brings success." End quote. All right, so in reference, and then there I brought to you Benny, good morning on IG. Thanks for tuning in, good brother. I bent to you last week. I mentioned to you about another former ESPN analyst who mentioned that ESPN basically couldn't hold a light to the TNT show, and Kenny kind of alluded to that a little bit in that article there too as well. And again, like I said, what you have at TNT is you have the stability, like Kenny Smith just mentioned. Like I said, he mentioned you have the longevity. And one of the other things I mentioned is that you have Ernie Johnson, okay, the spearhead, the head guy, whatever. Pretty good basketball knowledge. And of course, like I told y'all about all these mainstream TV shows, they have some guys that work for them or people that work for them to get them stuff right. Well, we besides that point. On the face value and what we see from TNT on a daily basis, you see the continuity. You see the joking. You see the levity in those guys. The camaraderie in those guys. And a lot of their, like I mentioned last week, a lot of their banter is expected, but it's free willing. And I mean that, when I say that, I mean it just flows with them. When those guys pick on each other, it's always in the moment. It's entertaining. And they give you basketball, and then they also give you entertainment. And they're consistent with it. It's not like, okay, tonight we're going to pick on Chuck, and then we just going to leave it alone for the rest of the week. It might be Chuck's night again one day this week, but if not, then we're going to pick on Shaq. And we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. But it's always incorporated into the makeup of the basketball stuff that they give you. So again, the continuity, the stability. Those guys have been together for so long. Their knowledge and their cohesion was very well thought out, very well planned. And there you have what you have as a good show, a really good NBA show. Let's see, Nathan Williams says, "You are right. ESPN can't hold the candle to TNT. The NFL network is slowly catching up as well. ESPN is scared." Listen, ESPN has been having issues for a long time there. And like I said, we talked about it when they first started maybe a year or two ago. And then, like I said, this year, most recently, it really hit when they had these layoffs. Like I said, they laid off one of the guys who was like considered football for ESPN. It was like, if you thought ESPN football, his name was right there at the top of the list. He's the name you first thought about. And then, again, like I said, just recently, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy. Like, these are guys that you lay off. You keep Stephen A. Smith, you bring Malika Andrews in, you change that show, and you get rid of Jalen Rose. They're reaching. NFL Network definitely is better. It's one focused NFL, but it is better. Like, you watch those NFL shows, those guys have life. Those guys have been together. They've been able to stay together and do things. Like I said, they have banter that comes with the show that gets incorporated into the football stuff. And it's more natural when you watch those other ones than when you watch the ESPN stuff. It just is for me. So, we'll stay in tune with what happens at ESPN and what continues to happen at ESPN, and just keep watching the other stuff that we like. You're still going to have some people that are going to like ESPN, but again, it's come a long way from what it used to be. Like I mentioned last week, before we had all of these other entities, it used to be, and we had a few, but it used to be a time where wherever you saw something, you saw CBS, whatever, you always reverted back to ESPN to get it and get your confirmation. Can't do that so much now. Things have changed drastically. So again, we'll see what happens. We'll see how other things go down at ESPN. Phillies take a loss. They had a couple losses this weekend to the Twins. Lost yesterday. Still first place in the wild card in the National League. They sit now 64-54, ahead of the Giants and the Marlins. The biggest thing is all three teams in the wild card did not have good weekends. So, they're kind of staying pace there. Hopefully, we will see some stuff from the Phillies. This is kind of, again, like I said, this is kind of reminding me of last year. And, they always say, all you have to do is get in. And when you get in, you can do some things. You can make some noise. Hopefully, they can make another run. Hopefully, they can give us another ride and ride us into football season. So, football season is upon us, preseason. And I know some people are probably going to be like, it's just preseason. I'm not really interested in yada, 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 whatever. Okay, but we know this town and we know our folks. We had Eagles football on Saturday. Eagles and Ravens. The Eagles fall 2019 in that game. But there are some good things to take from that game, if you will. The Jalen Carter snap. First snap as an Eagle. Very dominant move right at the quarterback. Bang. If anything that we saw on that play is what we're going to see from him throughout the season, pretty good shape. The cornerback, I forget who it was, they got the pick six late in that game. The youth that has been brought in, the talented youth that has been brought in. And it's great because they can get tutelage from coaching staff and from some really, really good veterans. Okay. Saw some great signs of what we knew we were getting in DeAndre Swift. Didn't see Jalen, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, some of the big guys, stars that we thought we would have seen maybe for a series or so. But again, if you think about it, the Eagles have some tough practices coming up, and that's where they're going to earn their money. That's where those starters are going to get their cohesion and get their timing and everything, getting ready for the season. In the two preseason games, you're not really seeing it because they may arguably not be playing against the other team's full complement of starters and yada, 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 things of that nature. But you also have to remember last year, Nick Sirianni, head coach of the Eagles, did something very similar where he held his guys out of preseason games and had them work in practice. And the Eagles turned out, went 14-3, went to the Super Bowl. Apparently, he knows something. He has something going on, and he's doing it again this year. So hopefully we'll get something similar, if not very, very close, or not the same result, something very, very close to the results we got last year. I am really, really looking forward to the Eagles season. Just one sad note, linebacker Sean Bradley has been ruled out for the season with a torn Achilles. So it's unfortunate. But again, we sort of just recently, we have a replacement for that. They just have to get quickly acclimated. Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham. So we have some replacements there. Again, there's still a little bit of uncertainty at that linebacker position. but the names, the names, and we know what we can get out of those names if they can come and perform and get acclimated to where we need them to get acclimated to. So that's that, folks. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. I appreciate the support as always. I definitely support the comment. Appreciate the comments and the dialogue that you all share with me. August 29th, Keswick Theater. You know what it is. Eddie Griffin, one night only. I posted it earlier. I shared it. Heat 100 Radio has tickets, but you got to tune in. You know where to tune in. You see me all week, every time on social media. SportsRap Podcast LLC is the group page on Facebook, Instagram at SportsRap CEO. You know what to do. Listen on Monday, 11 a.m. at heat100radio.com. Tune in so you can find out how you can get your chance to win tickets to that. August 29th, Keswick Theater. Eddie Griffin, one night only. Also, folks, it is August 14th. This Thursday is August 17th. Opening up the Dell, CC Winings and Friends. We gave away tickets last week. You saw I posted. We've got, I think, 2 more tickets. Excuse me. We've got, I think, 2 more tickets that we could possibly give away. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to the boss lady a little bit later. And we're going to figure out something. Figure out how we can give away these tickets. So, you know what to do. Stay tuned at SportsRap CEO on Instagram and TikTok. Facebook, SportsRap Podcast LLC is the group page there. Also, folks, I'm wearing the shirt today. You see it. I don't know if you can see it on Facebook, but there it is. SportsRap TV. You see it. Sports as we see it. YouTube page. Get over there. Like I said, it's like the shirt says, subscribe to that page. I need you all to get over there and support that page like you support every other facet of my social media. We need that page to grow. Also, webpage, Mel, my guy, all the way down from North Carolina. Thanks for tuning in real quick, bro. Where was I? Oh, webpage, sportsrapradio.com. Again, YouTube, SportsRap TV. Make sure you get over to YouTube, subscribe to that page, like the videos that are your favorites with the thumbs up on them, and then hit that bell so you will know when you can see new content. Auntie Joe, Charles' sister, thanks for tuning in on Facebook. Thanks to everybody on Facebook and Instagram that tuned in. I appreciate all the support, like I said, always. I thank everyone for tuning in today. It's a little short today, but I got covered everything that I wanted to get covered today. And listen, we are getting ready for football season, folks. So in the next couple weeks, we're going to be getting started. Like I said, it's already August the 14th. We got a couple weeks of preseason. Got 2 more preseason games. Like I said, the Eagles play this Thursday. We got some other games coming up. But then we got the start of the season. And, then we'll have enough football to talk every week. And that's going to run us right into September, starting the football season, running us right into basketball season. And I'm sure we will have a lot to talk about with both of those seasons, football season coming up, the NBA season coming up for the Sixers and the Eagles. And we're going to have some, I'm feeling it, we're going to have some playoff Phillies talk. So, folks, again, as always, each and every Monday right here, heat100radio.com. Get out and enjoy yourself today. It's going to be a hot one, so be careful out there. Make sure you stay hydrated. I think it's on 90 degrees, but nonetheless, it's Monday. Start your work week off. Start your week off well. Get out and enjoy some of that sunshine. Major League Baseball tonight. Astros, Marlins, Pirates, Mets, Yankees, Braves, A's, Cardinals, Angels, Rangers, Mariners, Royals, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Orioles, Padres, Rays, and Giants. WNBA Tuesday, Liberty and the Aces. And also this week coming up, Thursday, NFL preseason football continues. Thursday, the Eagles and the Browns after some joint practices this week. And then Friday, Panthers, Giants, Bengals, Falcons. Folks, thank you all for tuning in as always. Everybody on Facebook, everybody on Instagram, I appreciate you as always. Folks, thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next week. And always, all week on social media, and right back here Monday, 11 a.m. Peace.